So, she'll continue looking over, flip it over and everything, and just say, "So where am I even supposed to take this when I'm done with it?"
They gave me like a little decoder thingy, um, she says, and she hands it to you. It's almost like a card reader kind of thing. And if you look at the last document, there does seem to be like a barcode kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and you believe that uh, if you were to use this decoder and then put it underneath so that it overlaps on top of the barcode, it would like show you something.
Okay.
I didn't check myself because I want nothing to do with this. But you're my friend. You're in a tough bind. I figured I would help you out, and so I did. But you owe me for
So
this.
she'll sigh, just scratch the back of her head as she looks it over still and say, "I wouldn't have to do this in the first place if your family could help out a little bit."
Oh, my family, my help family. Yes, because my family are so great about helping people.
I
It's
know
just
it's not your fault. It's just bull.
I can help. I'd help you out if I could, but my parents.
I know your parents.
They watch my bank account like a hawk. If I were to loan you some money, they're gonna be asking me questions about what I'm spending it on.
No, I know that's true. That's why I didn't pressure you too much in the first place.
Yeah, I appreciate that. At that point, there is a slight tap on the door, and you hear a voice from behind the door saying, "Ginevra, Ginevra, are you there?" And then
Or,
and then
hearing that, Cassie will quickly like fold it and stuff it in her jacket.
yeah, and Ginevra sort of like gives a little. Gives a curse. Oh, for Arceus's sake. Um, she goes over. She like opens up the curtains again, and then she goes and opens the door. Yeah, you zip it up and says, "Coming, mother." She opens the door, and you see this woman. Now, this is a younger version of the woman who is actually Vivienne Kearney, who is Genevra's mom, and she is dressed in a very extravagant outfit, not like not ostentatious, more like a dark, earthy toned outfit, but it's almost like a not a power suit, but definitely one that sort of carries her in a place of power, basically. And she surveys the room and a little bit and says, "Cassie, I didn't realize that you were here, dear."
She'll offer a bit of a smile and say, "Vivian, you look as lovely as always."
Thank you. Will you be joining us for dinner today?
"Oh, I'd love to, but my mom's cooking us something already."
And she says, "Well, that's a shame," she says, and you can start smelling like the smell of really incredibly like delicious uh, grumpig pork um, downstairs. And Genevra kind of says, "Are you sure you don't want to hang out for dinner?"
Well, so with that, she'll look at Jen and see if there's any sort of tacit.
Jen's sort of like almost looking at you like I kind of don't want to be stuck here eating dinner with my mom kind of look, which is what happens a lot actually.
All right, well then, after that little moment, she'll look back at Vivian and say, "Well, I guess I could text her and ask if it would be cool."
We love having you, Cassie. It would definitely we definitely have plenty if you'd like to break bread with us.
All right, well, that's a very kind offer. Thank you. I'll let her know.
Vivian will then leave, and she will tell Ginevra, "Ginevra, don't forget to wash up." "Yes, mother," Ginevra says. At the dinner table, you are sat with Ginevra across. I guess Ginevra will be sitting next to you, mother across from her, and her dad, Matthew Kearney. Again, this is a younger version of Matthew, perhaps more during his Pokemon League champion days. Matthew Kearney right now is reading the newspaper. He's reading the Almia the Almia Times newspaper right now. And Vivian is sort of, taking some green beans, a green bean casserole, and, she's taking some small bites. And Vivian starts saying, "So, Cassie, dear, tell me, what have you been up to lately?"
So as she's, kind of picking at her food, she'll shrug a little bit and say, I've just been working a lot with my mom at the mart.
She nods. "How is your mother doing?" And she sort of dabs the edges of her lips daintily as she's, takes a sip of wine from a glass.
She'll offer a bit of a frown and head bobble, and say, I mean, all things considered, she's doing all right.
It sounds to me that she's been working herself pretty hard there.
Yeah, I think it's just to distract her, really. Well, not to mention that we still have to make ends meet regardless of what might have happened.
I see. Well, mothers do know best, though. Isn't that right, dear? And Matthew sort of like nods, just from behind the newspaper. He doesn't really put it down. And then she says, "The pork today is divine. I don't understand why there are so many vegetarians in this world when meat is so succulent and savory," she says as she takes another bite. "Ginevra, dear, how was your meal?" And Ginevra, who you've seen, doesn't have any meat on her plate. She's just eating more of the casserole. "It's working out just fine, Mother." Vivienne says, "Oh, your father and I have a surprise for you," she says with a big smile, and she sort of snaps her fingers. And the butler comes in with a large package of a box with a ribbon. And then the butler hands it over and says, "Madame Ginevra," and hands it to her. "What is this?" she asks. And Vivienne says, "Well, don't just stand there. Go ahead and open it." And she's like clapping. Vivienne is clapping. Ginevra opens up the box, and inside is a police officer uniform. And Ginevra looks at it, and like the expression on her face sort of sinks, and she says, "What the hell is this?" And Vivian says, "Ginevra, bite your tongue. That is your police officer's uniform." Ginevra says, "For what?" "Your father and I have been talking, and we have found the perfect institution for you to get your licensing as an officer." And Ginevra says, "Mom, I told you and Dad before, I don't want to become a police officer." "Oh, don't be silly, Ginevra. We've been over this dozens of times. You are a Jenny, and all Jennies become police officers." And Ginevra says, "That is a stupid rule." And Vivian says, "It's the way the world works, dear. You, of all people, should know the proper place for all of us. Don't you agree, Cassandra?" she says as she turns to you for support.
Oh, what a good mother. So she'll offer, a bit of a weak smirk and say, I mean, I think the Jenny thing is all biological. And then she'll look at, Ginevra and say, but I could start calling you Nevi if you'd like.
Ginevra says, "This isn't funny, Cassie. This is my future we're talking about." "I am looking after your future," Vivian says. "I think the family would be very proud to have our own police officer in our ranks. That's why we named you Ginevra in the first place. It is your destiny. You can't run away from your destiny. Just like every Joy is destined to be a nurse. Every Jenny is destined to be an officer." "I don't like it when you call me Jenny. I hate that name, Mother," she says as she gets really frustrated. At this point, Vivian says, "Ginevra, don't raise your voice at the dinner table." Ginevra starts to fume. "It's not right for you to start fighting with your parents in front of guests. It's not becoming of a woman of your stature." And ugh, Ginevra, you can see like her fists like clenching. She's really, really not liking this conversation, and almost
No.
like she wants to. She's sort of looking towards your direction as if a "help me out here" kind of way. Before she does
So,
something, like help me out here before she does something she's gonna regret, kind of thing.
right. So last then, well, if not a police officer, what were you thinking for your job?
I don't know anything else. A linguist. I wanted to be a Pokemon linguist. Linguistics, Vivian says. Did you hear what your daughter just said, darling? And again, Matthew Kearney is like just nods behind the newspaper. He still hasn't
Total participation.
totally not participated in this
Okay.
conversation. It says
So Cassie will perk up and be like, "Oh no, she's like a naturally born linguist. You should have heard the things she was teaching me the other day. It was incredible."
Cassie, linguists are is a fine job, but I just feel that Ginevra is destined for more things, for something more, something that's actually impacts the world in a very large way, just like the rest of our family does.
Well, of course, but you have to understand, language is probably the most impactful thing that we can have in this world. Without language, we wouldn't even have police officers.
She says, "Well, you do have a point. My daughter does have a bit of a problem with her language," and Ginevra sort of like fumes as if she's about to say a few choice words of language right now. Um,
Is there a chance I could roll like a some kind of knowledge that would give me insight into the world
sure.
to find
Yes.
some sort of persuasive,
Yes.
argument?
Yeah. Why don't we do general education? Go ahead and roll me general education. Let me see what you get for that.
13.
Okay, okay. So these are so what I'm trying to say is out of character. The Kearneys are political people.
Of course.
Communication is a huge part of politics. Being able to speak well and communicate well. Maybe you might be able to leverage something like that with linguistics out of character.
She will take that knowledge and try to run with it and say, "Are you too happy with your current occupations, if I may ask?"
Well, of course we are.
I
Extremely
mean,
more than
it
happy.
certainly carries a certain sense of pride with it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Kearneys have always been very, very successful people, and we are very proud of our success. And we just
Oh,
want the best for our daughter too, for her to
as
be
you should.
meet her potential.
And I think that Jen here, or Nevi, I suppose I should call you now, has great potential in a lot of areas. But I think that if we want her to truly shine, that she should follow her passion. And I think that you can agree, especially being the well-spoken people that you two are, that linguistics is truly a study in the fine arts. You know, it's more than just talking. It's being able to know what to say and when to say it. Not only when to say it, but how to say it. And don't you think that maybe in the long run, you two might have had a little bit more of an impact than, a few officers taking down maybe, a drugstore thief every now and again?
Vivian sort of nods a little bit at what you say, and she says, Cassie, you impress me. Have you ever considered a job in politics yourself? And at that, Ginevra sort of rolls her eyes.
She'll chuckle and look back down at her plate, move her fork across it a bit and say, "Nah, I've always seen myself stocking shelves."
She says, just something to consider. Just something to consider, she says. At this point, Ginevra sort of like left the conversation, and Vivian says, tell me, Cassie, since you seem to be so eloquent, and your opinion, of course, is very, very well thought. I was wondering, since my daughter seems to be not in the mood to really talk about gifts in general, I was looking at a gift for my other daughter, and I was wondering if any of these you think would be something that she would be interested in. And she holds out to you 3 rings, and they're very nice looking rings. This is for Ginevra's sister. And there is a ruby ring, a sapphire ring, and an emerald ring. Which one would you recommend?
Well, Emerald has the best of both worlds, so.
Okay. You choose Emerald.
I mean, is there anything that I should roll for this? I'm just
No.
going off of the cartridges.
No. I'm just asking and seeing what you would pick. Okay. And that'll be the end of that scene. Last but not least, thank you for your patience, Petra.
No, I've been enjoying story time.
Well, good. We're almost done Act 1. Petra, you are a beautician.
Yes.
Right now, you are at work over at the what's the name of
Sola.
that? Sola. At the Sola boutique, is what you call it?
Sola Spa.
Sola Spa. Thank you. And is this a spa? I kind of envisioned that this spa had two wings. One wing was for humans and one wing was for Pokemon. Is that
Originally it was going to be human, but we can do Pokemon as well.
If you
That's
want it to
fine.
just be human. Okay. All right. The Sola Spa. And we'll say that you are currently free. Or at least you're wrapping up somebody's hair right now. And the door swings open, and is the person that comes in is a woman who you know to be one of your best customers. This is the woman that appears. She's in her mid-40s. You know her as, her name is Felicity. She actually works a deli in Saffron City, which is the next town over from Cerulean City, which is where the spa is. But she was never really satisfied with the salon in Saffron City, so she comes over here. It doesn't take her that long, but she comes here about once a month or once every other month to get her hair done at the spa. And she rolls in, and she looks very exhausted, and whew, man, my dog's barking.
Felicity, how are you? Waves her over.
Tiffany, are you free? I'm sorry I didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance to set up an appointment this time.
Out of character, would she be?
You are free.
Okay. Oh, sure, for you, always. Come. That's true.
She walks over and she says, I just need my roots redone a bit. She's sort of darkening. Her hair is graying a little bit, even more so than maybe a normal person in her mid-40s. And she says, I was wondering if you could, give it a little bit of a fix for me.
No problem.
Now that the spring weather is here, I just want to make sure that I look my best.
Oh, obviously.
So she gets herself onto the seat and says, whew, it is so nice to be sitting for a change.
Oh, rough trip over.
That deli keeps me so beat sometimes.
Oh, trouble at the deli, just a long day?
Running that place is just can be very tiresome sometimes. I like the business just fine, but every now and then a vacation would be nice.
Oh, yes, could use one too.
Just tell me, dear, how are things with you?
I'm me, I'm always working. If I'm not here, I'm trying to do my consulting thing.
Did you ever get that job, your consultant job, by any chance? Did that ever pan out?
Not full-time, it's more people call me if they need me. I'll get there, don't worry about it.
You start doing her hair, and Felicity, she likes to talk. Like, she likes to chat with the people that she goes to the salon with, and she starts saying, "Did you hear about that child that they found in the woods the other day?"
No, I didn't. Tell me more.
Apparently, they found his in the woods. Apparently, died of hypothermia.
Oh, that's sad.
I just don't understand any parent who lets their kids go out at as young as 10 years old. Can you imagine that?
Ugh, no, but my parents still let me have a Pokemon, so.
Well, maybe that's a blessing to you. I don't know. When I was their age, 10 years old, I wasn't thinking about leaving the house. I was very happy being at home with my parents. Let me tell you, I had Pokemon, but I wasn't about to go out there in the scary world. No, sir.
The world can be scary, but it can also be exciting. I, meanwhile, had to deal with my overachieving brother Trenton and my father and their belief of I am not living up to my potential. And this isn't the talk for this. This should be fun.
She says, I don't think I ever heard much about your brother.
Trenton? Well, there's a 10-year gap, so we're not super close. Plus, he's super law. I'm not.
Did your parents let you go off on a Pokemon trainer, whatever they call it? Did either of you do that?
Trenton did for about 6 months before he came home and went, I really want to do school. I was supposed to, and then there was an incident, shall we say? I don't really want to go into it. It's terribly embarrassing. Looking at your roots, I can do you a new treatment. It'll last you about another extra 3 months. It's a little experimental, though.
Oh.
Do you mind?
She says, by all means, go right ahead.
Great. Takes out her bottle, starts mixing the formula up.
There's only certain people I would trust with my hair, and you are one of the few, Tiffany. So do what you need.
All right, begins working on it.
She says, I swear, all of these children ending up dead left and right. So I don't know why they keep allowing this. And of course, the Pokemon League, they're protected by law. Everyone has a waiver, everyone's licensed, and yada yada yada. I just think it's just nonsensical. I mean, what do they have to prove, really?
Well, I know people say the same thing about the contest world. What do we have to prove? Or what do they have to prove? I'm only marginally attached to it.
See, Pokemon contests, that I can get behind. Doing Pokemon contests, normally, I would like to think the mortality rate is just a little bit lower in that field, don't you think?
In that we have no mortalities, unless it's a combat contest, which I don't go near.
I just don't understand why those kind of contests are not more popular. I mean, normally people breed Pokemon for violence and fighting, and don't even get me started on on the morality of that and everything.
I know.
But it just seems like the Pokemon contests, who I assume are used for more practical things, like skill, for example, and not necessarily trying to knock out each other's Pokemon down to submission. Did you know, I read somewhere that there's been a study that Pokemon these days have been knocked out so often that it can seriously cause permanent brain damage or worse?
That's awful! Who do that?
I don't understand it. I mean, how mature do they really feel that 10-year-olds are these days? I think they're just giving that generation too much credit. I mean, it wasn't like that when I was their age. No.
Kids are kids. And for some it helps, some it doesn't. I wouldn't know. I don't get to participate.
It is at this point... Who's Muck? I mean, who's not Muck? Who's you? Is that Roma?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
So at this point, you is getting into some mischief. What kind of mischief is you getting into right now in the salon, unbeknownst to Tiffany?
He's kind of slithering over to something, and he's getting into the hairspray bottles. Maybe he picks some up and he's kind of opens them and gets it everywhere.
Okay. So he opens it. He's just kind of spraying the bottles, and it actually starts. Okay, first it starts giving your skin, your slimy skin, a bit of a sheen, a very sticky sheen, which you actually find kind of amusing. And one of the other beauticians says, Tiffany,
Huh?
could I think Ooze gotten into the hairsprays again.
Oh, I'll be right back, Felicity. Sorry.
Take your time.
Oh, not too much time. That treatment has to be finished in 15 minutes. You, sweetie, goes clicks over. What are you doing? Oh. give me the bottles.
He kind of reaches up and tries to give her a hug.
Oh, you are adorable, but we've covered this. You don't get to leave the daycare area when Mommy's at work.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry. We'll do something fun after, okay?
It is at this point that the door swings open, and in walks in this woman. Now, she is wearing the outfit that you see here. She's a woman who looks young, but Tiffany knows that this is due to probably a bunch of procedures, plastic surgery, and all that. And the way she right now comes inside, and she has one of those. What do you call that? This sort of like they're like sunglasses that are on a stick. If you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying, like the sunglasses
Like,
on a stick.
Almost opera glasses, but
Almost
not really.
opera glasses, but not really. But she comes in and strides across the room towards her direction. Tiffany.
Rises, forces a smile into face.
She gives you a great smile, and then she lowers her glasses slightly and says, "Tiffany, dear,
Ah, Miss Constant, how are you?
I'm doing quite lovely, quite lovely. I just came by to pick up my sweet Maurice after his massage."
Yeah, I'm sure he needs all the de-stressing.
Oh, yes. We have a contest that we're about to win this afternoon, and I wanted to make sure that Maurice was ready.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be many talented Pokemon. I hope you two do well.
Thank you. And how is your endeavors doing? I see that you're still working here at the salon.
Yeah, the best salon in the country. So, yeah, I'm doing great.
I definitely will say that their Pokemon department is very good. Yes, she says.
All of our departments are very good. We're
At
the
this
best.
At this point, Ooh has kind of moved on to a thing of hairbrushes.
Yes.
Kind of knocking them over, trying to pick them up.
Yes, she says as she's looking at you, knocking things over. I'm sure things here are running extremely smoothly and professionally. And things start falling over. Like the entire display of brushes like falls over.
Well, I believe Crystal is working on Maurice today, so you might want to go over and check. I need to go wrangle my Pokemon. Please excuse me.
She calls out a bit and says, "You know, I might be able to help you a little bit with your with your problem. I was thinking that your Pokemon, he seems to be getting in the way of your, well, aspirations. I'm more than willing to take him off your hands for you."
Turns around, suspicious look, very quickly masks that, because client. I do want to find Ooh a good home, but I just know how stressful your competition circuits are, and I think I can give him a better one for now.
Well,
I more see him with family and kids, young people.
well, the offer is there. The offer is there if you ever want to, give him a better home.
Mm-hmm.
I just had one more thing I wanted to show you real quickly. She
course.
says, and at this point, Felicity says, "Is this gonna take a while?" And the woman puts her glasses back towards her and says, just a second," she says. "Have you heard, dear, of Spinder?"
Out of character, what I have?
Let's say I will say Pokemon education. Roll a Pokemon education.
Okay. I'll actually a thing in that. 12.
12. You actually heard of Spinder. So Spinder is an app on your phone or tablet, and it actually is a app for Pokemon that assists Pokemon breeders. And what it does is it allows you to find other Pokemon that would you make a profile for your Pokemon that you want to breed with other Pokemon, and basically
It's a dating app.
the mascot for Spinder is a Spinda, which is it's that bear with like
the
dizzy
dizzy
bear.
eyes.
The dizzy eyes, that's Spinda. So Spinder. And so what happens is on the app you see Spinder and it shows you 2 Pokemon on each side that are good candidates for breeding, and you can either swipe the Spinda left or swipe the Spinda right. And then you can find, basically it will allow you to connect a Pokemon that Spinder believes would be good for breeding in order to make very good Pokemon for depending on what kind of Pokemon you want. It's very useful. It's very useful in the Pokemon contest world, obviously, in order to breed award-winning Pokemon with.
It's a mobile app or something on phones. A little surprised you know about it. No offense, of course.
She says, "Dear, I am one of the investors of Spinder."
Oh,
She says, "I highly recommend that you, if you don't have the app for yourself, I highly recommend that you download the free version, and perhaps, the subscription is actually worth it, in my opinion." She brings up the app, and you see her swiping left and swiping right.
yeah, I'm really not looking for more views. I have the one that's in my life now.
Jefferson, her son, he says, "Jefferson has found great success with Spinder.
I bet.
I just thought that, maybe as an old friend, I would, again, try to help you out of your little rut."
Oh.
At this point, Ooh has grabbed hold of a hairbrush and is kind of slowly sinking into his head.
I really do need to go. My apologies.
She
You,
says,
buddy, sweetie, love, don't.
He's just kind of confused, like why he can't seem to get it.
Your kneels down, very carefully tries removing it. Do not want to take your brain with it.
And with that, once you take care of that, the Cecilia Constant will make her way over to get her dugong. And Felicity, as you approach her to attend to her hair again, she kind of shakes her head and she goes, "What is her problem?"
I don't know. I really don't. You see, thing is, her and my mom, they were rivals back in the day, but they were besties at the same time.
Ooh.
So I don't know why she's so hostile to me. Or I guess that really wasn't hostile. For one of our interactions, that was civil.
That's what we call passive aggression, honey. Passive aggression. More aggression than passive, yes.
Exactly. But for her, it's one of our nicer encounters.
You know that she came here just to make a fool of yourself. She wasn't really trying to help you.
Joke's on her. We get her money. Now let's get this stuff out of your hair before it starts burning.
When you finish up, Felicity will look at your work and says, "Tiffany, you work wonders. A true miracle worker."
Of course.
She says. And she will slowly get up and hand you some Pokebucks to pay. And she says, "So Felicity, you're good with fashion. I just wanted to get your opinion on something."
Oh, of course.
"I was looking at these magazines and I was trying to find something that I might get for myself. I was just wondering which one of these you think would be the most fitting. These necklaces, diamond, pearl, or platinum?"
I think with your skin tone, pearl would be gorgeous.
"I do like me some pearls." "Thank you.
They are universal and timeless.
Much appreciated," she says with a smile, and she
No
will
problem.
leave.
Hugs her. Okay. Safe travels.
Act 2. Once again, everybody roll initiative. Act 2. Cassie, 13. 22 for Chase. Roma. Ella gets 14. Noir gets 14. And I just need Roma to roll again. Roma has 14. And between Molly and Noir, who has the higher...
11.
Okay.
That didn't matter.
Between Molly and Noir, who has the higher speed?
They're
I
both at
have
7.
7.
Reroll, please. Reroll to break the tie.
Okay,
Molly and Noir.
that's good. Oh, not me, probably. All ones.
Oh, okay. All right. So Molly will go before Noir. All right.
You have crit failed. You go last.
How do you manage to get all 1s with 7 dice?
Magic.
You fall over them a lot. Like you trip over, there's like obstacles in the way.
Of course.
Chase. We're gonna move to present time.
All right.
You're out in the streets of Saffron City, and you're just living day by day, surviving, doing what you can to scrounge for food. I don't know how you normally get food, if you try to forage it for yourself, if you're begging in the streets, or if you don't beg in for the streets, whatever it is. I guess, what do you normally do?
Sure. No, Chase would try to do tasks, so he's not beyond trying to mow someone's lawn, or he might do rounds, like he might water plants for an hour for someone else.
Okay.
And he just does his rounds through the city that way. Legitimately, if possible, begging as a last option if he's hungry and it hits the night. But yeah.
Okay. So let's say that it's a rather slow day. Nobody's really needs any work done. You currently don't. You're currently pretty much almost run out of food completely. So it's starting to look desperate. Lux. Who's Lux? That's Petra, right?
Yep.
Lux, you are famished.
Oh,
You
boy.
are starving. You are very hungry, Lux. So we'll say that the way that I'm going to handle this is that in general, the Pokemon are going to be in their Pokeballs unless you specify that you let them run around free by default. If they keep you in the Pokeballs, I'm going to say that you are able to just pop out of your Pokeball
Okay.
when it's convenient to the storyline. You can do it. If it's not convenient to the storyline, then I'll have you roll instead. So we'll say that Lux pops out of his Pokeball now because he's hungry. And what do you do, Lux?
Floats around in front of him.
Are you hungry, buddy? All right, well, I pick him up and I just open my sweater, stick him into the sweater. It's pretty tiny, so I figure Chase wouldn't really keep Lux inside the Pokeball if he had a choice of it. He'd
Okay,
probably tuck it away in his sweater or something like that.
then Lux was not in a Pokeball in the
He'll
first
just
place.
pop his head up from the sweater or something and stare at me. All right, you're hungry. It's been a hard day. Let's check our last spot and then we'll go from there. Okay, buddy? And so we take a walk to the deli,
All right.
Fortuna's Deli.
You're going to go to Fortuna's Deli, and there seems to be a relatively long line. So Felicity Fortune, like I said, owns this deli. And while the sandwiches are great, the really popular thing about the deli is actually their smoothies. So Felicity Fortune, she actually has a hobby of growing pokeberries. She actually owns, back at her home, the largest private, I guess, orchard, if you would call it, the largest private orchard of pokeberries. And many of the smoothies are made from berries from her home. But they do get suppliers to meet the demands of the people. So there is like a special each week, and the special consists of pokeberries from her home, grown from her own orchard, basically. So right now it's the lunch rush. So a lot of people are in line right now. Many people that are coming out of the deli are drinking smoothies, pokeberry smoothies. So what do you do?
I wouldn't go in during the day, not right now, anyways. It being lunchtime, there being a lot of traffic out front, Chase will stick to the sides of homes. Like he doesn't try to draw too much attention, both for his sake and for Lux's. And I just tuck into the side of the deli, and I start hitting the back of it. So down the alley and out back where the dumpsters are, and the back door of the deli.
Okay.
Can we? I imagine there being like a small little stairwell that comes down, and that usually at night is when
The drop.
Yeah.
Yes, usually at night. But that
So
won't
I'll
be for
go
a
there.
while.
I'll assume it's not there, but I'm gonna hang out in the back.
Okay, you hang out in the back. It's not there because normally I would say around closing time. Closing the time is when the drop happens.
I do check the dumpsters though, real quick.
Okay, well let's do a roll. Survival might be better than perception actually. Survival I think makes more sense in
Okay.
this case.
Could I help? Or could
I-
Lux help?
I think Lux could help. Lux could roll a survival as well to forage.
And now I have survivalist, so it's I believe it's a +2 on the roll, if
Yep.
that's correct, right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And how does that help thing work? Is there something does that mean something?
I just mean that it just means that Lux is also searching too. So if Lux
Gotcha.
rolls high enough, he might find something that you don't find if it's higher
Gotcha.
than yours. I think Lux is having problems finding things. 16. Okay.
To be fair, he's in a costume.
To be fair, he's in a costume. So yeah, I think you're rummaging through the dumpster, and you do manage to find a bag, a to-go bag, that contains a safe looking panini sandwich.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
and we'll say that roll. Let's see. I'm gonna roll a die to determine.
sorry, Lux.
I tried.
Sorry. Okay, so the sandwich is a sour flavored sandwich. It is a sour flavored sandwich. I don't know if what Lux's taste is.
Lonely dislikes sour, from what I found.
Dislikes?
Favorite flavor is spicy. Dislikes
Favorite
flavor
flavor
is sour.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you were great at finding something, and it's
Shoot.
probably great for you.
Yeah.
But if Lux wants to eat, you're gonna have to coax it a bit. If it's gonna eat it, you have to coax it.
All right, Lux. How hungry are you? I take a bite out of it first, just to get a taste for it, see if
Okay.
it's something I can pass off or not.
So this is a I'll say this is a lemon torchicken sandwich.
Sounds amazing.
It does.
So I tasted. I'm like, Lux. I don't think I lucked out today. But if you're really hungry, maybe just take a few bites, and then we'll check again in a few hours.
It will. Little shadow tail hand thing comes out from under costume, tears off a tiny chunk, slinks it back in up under costume.
You're not happy that you're eating it, but at least you won't go hungry for a
Exactly.
little bit longer. So
We'll find more, Lux.
while you're feeding Lux, this gentleman turns the corner towards your direction as well. And he is an elderly gentleman. Definitely, he's an elderly gentleman dressed in raggedy clothing. And he has an Alolan Rattata on his shoulder.
Yes.
As just like it's pictured on that's a Rattata on his shoulder is pictured on his image.
That's awesome.
And he's a little bit hard of seeing. His sense of hearing is quite good, but he's just a little bit hard of seeing, and he sort of hobbles over. He has a little bit of a what does it mean? He's favoring a limp. I guess a limp is the best way I could put it. He has a little bit of a limp as he's making his way around the corner. And I says, I hear someone munching. Is it feeding time already?
Got some pretty good ears there, Cobblestone. Come on back, man. Pull up a seat.
Oh, Chase, my friend. I thought I would find you here. Though I didn't think I would find you here this early in the day.
Yeah, it's a little early, but the little guy is hungry. So
Ah,
went to the usual spots there, buddy. I don't know if you can find anything extra, but I think Lux has had his fill for now. So if you want the rest of the sandwich, it's all yours.
that's very kind of you. You don't need to eat yourself?
I'll find food later. It'll be fine. As my stomach growls.
He has a
At
seat.
that, Lux is going to bash side of skull mask into your head.
He takes a seat next to you, and he said, "It's been a very slow day, I would say. I've been out in the streets trying to get whatever scraps I can for people, but I don't know. People haven't been as generous lately as they have before."
Little slow, huh? They're all buying the smoothies from inside. That's where all their money's going.
I heard the smoothies are quite tasty over there. Yes.
Maybe. I'll try to get us one. How's that?
She says, "I knew that you were in good graces with the missus here, but I didn't know that you were in that good graces that you could get one of her smoothies."
Well, asking never hurts.
He sort of nods a little bit, and he kind of rummages through his pack a little bit, and he asks while he's rummaging through his pack, "So what else is new with you, Chase?"
Just trying to find a nice place to settle down, sleep for the night. I got to move around quite a bit, and the back's a little sore. It's not always easy to find a bed around here, but you got to do what you got to do. On your side, though, say if everything's quiet. Do you mean everything's quiet like on the street? Do you know anything that's happening around here? Something I should be worried about? Something I should look into?
He sort of smiles a little bit. A little dramatic, are we, Chase?
You
No.
always gotta look over your shoulder. You always. That's the rule of the streets, my friend.
I suppose. No, nothing particularly out of the ordinary, other than just, I guess, people in general. Not as many lately, as I've seen. There's some sort of event going on somewhere on the other side of town. I have no idea.
Is there some sort of Pokemon tournament going down? Are there flyers on the wall?
It's at this point that that while you're just sitting there, the man is just, there's like a patch of sand, and he's sort of like, just running his fingers through the sand and sifting through it, very similar to the way that Molly was sifting through the sand back when you were children. You sort of grab a hold of that memory while he's doing that.
So I have a flashback, more vivid than usual, because of the trigger, and I freeze for a moment in mid-conversation with Cobblestone, and it gets shivers down my back, and I kneel down beside Cobblestone, and I just, "Hey, what are you doing?"
He looks at you as if he's not really sure what you're referring to, and then he gives you a look as, "What am I doing? What?"
Like, is he doing passively? Like he's not
just
even
doing it
aware that-
passively. Like
Oh.
he's not. It doesn't look like he might even be doing it without even really thinking about it as much. He's just fidgeting, I guess. Maybe he might be a little bit of a fidgeter, I guess.
Gotcha. Kneel down beside him and start drawing stuff in the sand as well. And I say, "Hey, are you a creative dude? Like drawing?"
I can't say I'm that artistic, no. Not
So how
even in
about-
my youth.
So what if I start drawing something and then we can create something together here?
I guess whatever it takes to pass the time, certainly.
Till closing time. How's that?
Till closing time. You guys just kind of sit there and you start to draw. Roll a perception, please, Chase. 2? Okay. You and because of your poor perception and Cobblestone's perception, you don't notice this until right after it happens. A shadowy figure, almost out of nowhere, leaps down from above and darts around the corner, and I think he hears. Cobblestone hears this happening, and he turns around. And before you realize what just happened, you notice that the pack that he was just rummaging through is missing. It's been taken. Where's my pack? Cobblestone is asking.
And I look up. I see the.
You see a figure darting.
And is it enough for me to see that the figure's holding a pack?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Start going. As soon
All
as
right.
Cobblestone says it's his pack, Chase is off.
Okay, Chase runs after whichever this figure is. Roll me a it would be a fitness. What's the skill? Athletics. Yes,
yeah.
Running. Athletics, please.
Okay.
As you dart for this figure that just took his pack. Lux will say is like
Still inside the hoodie.
Yes. 12. All right. You manage to pick up speed. You start to gain on whichever this person creature is. And when you get a better look, you notice that this is not a person. It is a Pokemon.
Oh boy.
And this
Oh boy.
is what the Pokemon looks like. It's actually a relatively large Pokemon that looks like that. Now, the interesting thing about this Pokemon is it normally only has 2 tails, or normally has 2 limbs, like as hands. This one happens to have 3.
Huh.
Ambipom. It looks like it's an Ambipom, but it's like a 3-tailed Ambipom. And the Ambipom is holding that's pack by its 3rd hand. The other 2 hands are starting to like run through the streets.
Oh boy. All right. And it's like in the open, like it's not trying.
Yeah.
To... All right. Well.
Yeah, it's out in the open.
I'll try to catch on it. I don't know how fast it is. But I will. I'll try to just do a straight, like beeline straight to it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be aware of my surroundings. I want to look around and start seeing if there's ways for it to escape, and just start to conceptualize.
Yep. You conceptualize his path. You go ahead and roll me a guile. Oh, you want survival?
I think so. I think it says something about just navigating the street as if like all urban terrain is just normal terrain.
Roll me a survival.
Okay.
50. Oh, nice. Okay, so you take an assessment. You know the streets very well, and even though this creature is moving really fast, due to your great athletics roll and your cunning, you're able to finally corner it within a relatively short amount of time. There are definitely people who are walking by down the streets who notice you chasing them. Nobody in particular seems to like get involved, but nobody is stopping you either. Nobody's like getting in your way. In fact, many of them like move out of the way as you're chasing them. But you do manage to reach the Ambipom, and at this point you have it cornered, and it has managed to climb up one of the electric poles, a lamppost. It's climbed up a lamppost.
So I'm I will I'm in straight run, like as fast, pretty much a sprint. And I'm gonna parkour off some cars, and try to get to the wall, do a wall run, and then jump to the lamp and try to tackle it with a fly. So I've got about a 7 to 8 meter range when I'm in a running start to get from wall to lamp.
Okay. Roll. I'm trying to is there an ability that you're using?
So it's acrobatics in order to pull it off, and then there's feature or something.
Yeah.
Aerial ace. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Go ahead. roll in acrobatics.
Oh my
8.
God. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. You attempt to visually tell me again what you're trying to do. What was the attempting to do?
So within 8 meters, try to get some momentum to do a wall run, and then with that momentum, push off the wall to get to the lamp so that I could just do a flying tackle.
Yes. So you attempt to do a wall run. You manage to run up the wall quite a bit, but when you leap to try to make the tackle, you miscalculate, and you end up instead missing the pole. You fall, and you roll in acrobatics to roll to not take as much damage. 13. All right. You roll, which means that you only take... Okay, you only take 3 points of damage. You only take 3 points of damage from the fall because you tumbled very well. The unfortunate thing is because of your momentum, you rolled right into ongoing traffic. There is a car that is screeching its brakes. It's going to impact you if you don't leap out of the way. Roll in acrobatics to leap out of the way before you get hit by a car.
Jeez.
So this is the first time we kill someone session 1.
Yeah, Shay might have to re-roll a character. all of this plot. 12? Okay. You manage right at the last second to dash out of the way of the car. Now it's a convertible, so it has its top down. So the good news is you are able to get out of the way just in time as you hear the car, screech away. But the bad news is Lluks fell out of your hoodie and landed in the back seat of the car.
Oh, jeez.
So now Lluks is being driven off that way. Ambipom has leapt off of the lamppost, is now running the other way. What do you do?
The timer bar starts to go down.
Yeah, the timer bar starts to go. What do? Do you go after Lluks? Do you go after Ambipom, or do something completely different? What do you do?
And so, just out of character, what was Cobblestone's bag? Was just his stuff, like his bag of things.
It's his only stuff. Like that's all his stuff. That's all he has.
I'm gonna do a quick glance at the car to see if Lluks is at least aware of what just happened. Like, is it like unconscious? Is it looking like back, like oh crap, like sort of thing, or
you can't tell. You don't know. You were able to see Lluks fall into the back of the car. It doesn't seem like the person driving the car noticed. You did see the person driving at least turned around, probably like making sure that you didn't get hit. And since they saw that you didn't get hit, they're just driving off now, like really shaken by it.
So, and can I see the license plates? Yeah, plate number. Can I get
roll a perception?
Car. Oh my gosh.
Things pick up in Act 2. So this is where the tough decisions start.
It's a 4. So
it's a 4.
Average.
Nope. You can't. You have no idea. The only way you'll be able to find is if you chase after it.
Convertible and the color of it.
Yes, the convertible. I will say that it's a light green convertible.
I'm gonna chase after the monkey Pokemon.
Okay. All right, you go chase after the monkey Pokemon. We will say that you finally do, just to save some time. You finally manage to corner it again, in like an alley of some sort, and the Pokemon turns around, and he has a very not a contemptuous look on his face, more like a playful, a playful look on his face. Like, this is fun.
Okay, so I drop the aggressive chase act, like chasing act, but chase doesn't. Yeah. And I just okay, buddy. I don't know if you can understand me. Let's say the game is over for a while. Maybe we can become friends. We could do this with something else. But can I get the bag back? Drop the bag.
He said he gives you a little bit of a devilish grin and shakes his head.
And is the pack like hanging off some edge or something? Is it above me or how?
No,
how
it's
is
on
it?
his tail. It's on his tail.
Oh, it's just hanging out. Like
His
it's like,
hand. He's like holding onto it behind him.
I'm gonna have to do a running tackle. I'll do a running tackle.
All right.
For the pack.
All right,
I think
roll whatever it is you have to roll for the running tackle.
I will do it as a leap, so I will do it acrobatics.
Okay.
And again, I guess 7 meters range there. So hopefully, I guess it could be guile to so it doesn't see that I'm coming. I think they use guile.
Yep. Go ahead.
So you want to do guile and then an acrobatic?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for everybody else's patience. Act 2 is a little bit longer than Act 1, so thank you for your patience.
There's the guile, 10,
10. Okay, and then
acrobatics to pull it off. 14.
14. Yes. You sort of give a little bit of a shuffle, trying to fake him out, and then he goes one way, and then you meet him as you tackle him down to the ground. The bag falls, and some of his items like start to fall out, and you and the Pokemon now are struggling. Like he's struggling to get free. He doesn't seem to like being held. And he actually scratches you across the face, and your face starts to bleed a little bit.
Yeah, I won't defend myself. I'll let him hit me as long as
All
I
right.
get the bag. Don't hold on the bag.
Take 2 points of damage, and then you'll hear finally the shrill sound of woman's voice yell out, "What do you think you're doing?" As you turn around, you see this woman, and she has a very upset look on your face, dressed in a very extravagant clothing. "What do you think you're doing?" She says, "Unhand him right now."
As long as I have a hand on the pack, I let go of the monkey right away.
The Ambipom scurries off and runs behind the woman Vivienne, and she says, "Do you mind explaining to me why you are assaulting my Pokemon?"
Okay, hold on. This Pokemon took something of a friend of mine. I'm just trying to get it back. I know it's trying to play. I mean it no harm, but I do need to get this back because now I've lost my Pokemon due to this.
My Smackle would never do such a thing like that.
I don't think it stole because it knew it was stealing, but it definitely took something. Let's just say it borrowed it, and I'm borrowing it back. I'm not borrowing it back. I'm taking this back. This doesn't belong to anybody but my buddy.
She doesn't seem to believe you right away, and you probably can gather it's because, based on her clothing, she might not necessarily see you in the highest esteem, like the riffraff that you are. So she sort of like upturns her nose a little bit and says, "How do I know that you weren't just trying to steal it or kidnap it? There have been many cases of kidnapped Pokemon lately around these parts."
I assure you I don't need any more Pokemon. One is enough.
Roll me a charm to try to diffuse the situation. 12?
Whew,
Okay, that's good. That's good. She seems to be appeased by this, and then she says, "Very well. I won't call the cops this time."
I would prefer that you didn't. Let's just keep this quiet. Can I get your name though?
She looks a little bit surprised. "You don't know who I am?"
I only ask for names when I think it's important to remember them.
"Kearney," she says. "Vivienne Kearney." As soon as you hear her name, you know who this person is, because she is like you probably have never seen her in person, but you know that she is a very powerful politician in Kanto.
With the name, I would definitely take a step back and say, well, I apologize for any complications this might have caused.
She then looks satisfied with that, and she says, "Keep yourself out of trouble. And I recommend get a job."
It's good advice. Thank you. Have a good day.
she turns around and the Ambipom looks at you with a devilish grin again before he runs off behind her. What do you do next?
Go back towards where the convertible, like see what road it turned on, and start running in that direction to see if I can get another eyesight of it.
Okay. Roma.
Mhm.
You are in a women's correctional facility. You're in jail.
Okay.
So, this is actually your first day in the correctional facility. They put you into, one of those orange jumpsuit things, and the cells here are, it's not terrible conditions. It's not luxury, of course, like 5-star hotel, but it is what it is. It's just a jail cell. So you go in, and there is a voice that you hear speak from this adjoining cell to you next door. One of the woman right next to you, she has long, semi-curly, dark brown hair, and then the person in the other cell has like short, dark hair. And the woman with brown hair calls out and says, well, looks like we got a new girl in the block. Out of character, I'm kind of going for a Harley Quinn kind of voice here. Not necessarily in personality, but at least in the voice.
Okay.
Do you respond?
Molly doesn't respond. She just kind of same thing she did as a child, just kind of ignores her, just kind of looks around, observes her surroundings.
She kind of notices your silence, and she gives you a very understanding look, and she says, oh, you're one of the quieter types. Oh, it's all right. I'll introduce myself. My name is Madison. Do you have a name?
Molly kind of looks over at Madison and she says, Molly.
Molly. Hey. Nice to meet you, Molly. Welcome to your first day. It might seem a little scary. It was scary for my first day too, but this place, it ain't so bad.
So, when do we eat?
At that, Madison sort of laughs, chuckles a bit. She says, well, I think you'll fit in here quite nicely. Now, don't be expecting the food here to be all that great, but between you and me, the fries are actually quite good, especially if you put a little bit of the ketchup in there. I try to put a little hot sauce on the ketchup too. It helps bring out the flavor. They sort of feeding time is something around 5 o'clock. We have a couple hours.
Sounds good. She's still kind of standing, looking around.
There's like an awkward silence between the two of you.